Welcome back to another episode of the Breadwinner Energy Podcast. This morning, I am recording out on my patio. So, we are going to see how this sounds for the podcast because even though I'm outside, I'm in the backyard, there's obviously birds, there's animals. We have like a bunch of trees right behind the house. And so, there's always some type of animal and bird and squirrel just going crazy out here. So, this is definitely a gamble, but also I've been coming out here in the mornings and before the kids get up, before my family gets up. I am a morning person. I love the morning time, and it's like my sacred time to myself to do whatever I feel called to do. I usually do a lot of work in the mornings before the kids get up because then the rest of the day is spent mothering until they have nap, lunch, whatever, and I have meetings, and then I'm off work after that. So this is like my favorite, best time of the day. I do all of my good creative work during these couple hours before they wake up. And so I've been coming out here in the mornings and drinking my coffee, and I've been getting so many downloads. And I thought, you know what, this morning I'm going to record the podcast out here. And I have so much like to give you guys today, so much pouring out of me. I feel like I have finally found the light. I wouldn't say the light at the end of the tunnel, but kind of. And we're going to get into that today and why I'm saying that. But um, let's get into today's episode. Tomorrow, Breadwinner Energy Academy Live starts, and it's going to be live for 8 weeks, but the program is 12 months long. Inside this program, you have a self-paced portal where you do all of your coursework. So everything we have now is inside school. I freaking love school. I have one of my coaches, she uses school, and I was in there as a student, and I was like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with this because typically I struggle with the coursework inside programs because if it's not easy to digest or the portal's like hard to navigate, it is so hard for me to go through coursework. Well, in this program specifically that I worked with this coach, this was the only option because she doesn't do calls. And so everything's in school. And it was so easy to navigate. It was just like the best experience I've ever had. And so I decided to migrate my people over to school. And so in there is the classroom portal, the community, the calendar, like everything is all in one. It's just such an amazing space. And so inside there, I have two areas. So number one is like our free community, the Breadwinner Energy Club, and that has its own school room. And inside the club, we have the community chat, and then in there too, I'm breaking down podcast episodes. So every week when I drop a podcast, we have a whole chat thread to talk about and break down, and they can ask questions about the podcast in my free community. And then they have a classroom. Inside the classroom is my podcast, my YouTube, a bunch of freebies, of entire vault of freebies, free masterclasses, free trainings. And then they have the classroom where they can unlock passive courses. And so you can join right now. The link is below. It's completely free to join our club. Now, we're going to get into today's episode. So don't go over there quite yet because you're going to know by the end of today's episode if this is or isn't the space for you. But then I also have my school portal for Breadwinner Energy Academy, which is my paid program, which is 2222 for the entire year or 222 a month for 12 payments. And I put everything in there. And so I'm going to teach the entire process live over the next 8 weeks, starting tomorrow. And then after that will be 12 months access. It'll be self-study. The entire thing is self-study. And then we'll have 2 calls a month for live Q&A. You have community access as well as guest experts. And in both my free program and my paid program, you can be an affiliate. So being an affiliate means you get a free link to sign up, and you use it to promote, tell people about my business, about Academy, my courses, anything that you're taking that you're like, I really love this. This is incredible. Everybody should know about it. And you earn profit. So in all of my self-paced courses, you get 50% profit, and then in Academy, you get 30% profit. So you could earn up to $666 every time someone joins my program using your link. And again, it's free to do. So lots of opportunities. But today I want to talk about Breadwinner Energy Academy. Like I said, we start live tomorrow. So if you have not joined, you will know by the end of this episode if this is or is not the space for you. You will know if you should join this program and join us for live for 8 weeks, or if you're just ready to start with our free community. So let's get into the juicy stuff in today's episode. most recently, I wouldn't even say recently. I would say that this is going to be funny. I have spent my entire life being spiritual since I was very young. Before I was even 7, I remember talking to my family about like soul contracts and reincarnating souls. And this was not something I was taught. This was just something that it was like a knowing. And I would talk about it, and I would get shunned almost from my family. My mother is Native American. That's from her dad's side. And then my mom's side is white and very, very heavily religious. And so I grew up with my mother, who's in the closet psychic, and she talks to me about these things, even though my mom rides like down the middle of the line. My mom is very, very spiritual, but she keeps it quiet because she knows that her mom will be so mad at her. Like her mom calls us a witch and all kinds of other crazy things, which is so disrespectful to, in my opinion, to like the Native community in general. That's a whole other conversation for another day. So growing up, my mom didn't ever talk to me about either one. My mom just was who she was. Like she didn't like pry into me about religion or spirituality, none of it. My mom was just like allowed me to be open, but my grandma, on the other hand, was very much like, no, like that is witch-like behavior. We don't act like that. Whatever. That goes against Christianity. And so I spent my entire life pretty much quieting those parts of me that I believed. And once I was in business, for the last 9.5 years, I have been extremely spiritual, but behind the scenes, in the closet, whatever you want to call it. And I haven't really told people. And so in my programs, in my containers, I would kind of like inch out in telling people about my spirituality and like what I believe and all the things. And it would be either met with like, wow, this is incredible. Like, this is your magic. This is like what you're so good at. This is like your thing. Or it would be met with like, this is not the space for me. And I had a really hard time with that because obviously programming, people pleasing, right, my entire life. And I was taught that like, that's not the thing to do. It's not the thing to say. Right. And I had someone in the industry tell me, I will never work with you because I'm a Jesus girl and you're not. And that really bothered me for such a long time. And I literally don't know why. I think it was just like that shadow, that healing of like, it's okay to be seen authentically you and for people to not like you or not agree with you or even not want to work with you. And I struggled with this for so long. Most recently, though, I have a client who's a psychic. Actually, I have lots of clients now that are like psychic, spiritual woo. It's like incredible. I'm so like, I finally feel like I found my people. I'm growing my space, like my community of my people who get me and see me and vice versa. And it feels fucking liberating. But I have this client and she has really been like pulling these things out of me without even trying to. And so, as I've been working with more clients, more spiritual clients, more clients that are allowing me, I would say, to be my most authentic self, and while I'm opening up, one of the things that has come full circle most recently is my gift of like what I'm here to do and what my natural gift is. My natural gift is shadow work. It is being a mirror to other people to show them where they're not showing up as their most authentic self, where they're not doing the thing they love, where they're holding themselves back, where they're people pleasing, where they're playing small. And I've known this for a long time about myself. The problem was whenever I would coach and it triggers people, right? Like obviously shadow work is going to trigger you. It you cannot avoid the trigger, right? Because that's literally its job is to trigger you, to show you, to mirror to you what's out of alignment and to work through it. That is what shadow work is in the most simplest terms. But when I would do this, I would get so, like, people would be so triggered and pissed. And I would get people to be so fucking mean to me. Like, it is unreal. The people have been so mean about it. But then I would get people who would like leave my space or want to leave the container. And back years ago, like years ago, when I didn't really realize this was my gift, I was like a baby dragon, right? Like I was spewing my fire, but I wasn't really in control of my fire. And I hadn't mastered my gift because I didn't know it was a gift. I just thought it was my personality. And then I got to the point where so many people were being so triggered and so mad. And even though there's people that came back and they were like, you triggered the fuck out of me, but this was like the best thing. Like you changed my whole life. Um, I still was like afraid. And so I went into like recluse mode for a couple years after this. And I've even talked about this on the podcast like a while ago, like going really soft on people and like kind of just showing up in a very watered down version of me because I was like afraid to trigger people until I would say in the last year, but like really in the last couple months, even it's like, whoa, like it's really come full circle for me. And this one client in particular was like, you trigger the fuck out of me in the best way possible. And it's so hard, like, but I know I need to like hear it and see it. And that's why I love working with you. And I was like, doing that I've been doing so much inner work recently around myself and my own shadow work and working with a couple different people to help with like reprocessing trauma and clearing out the negative trauma and the negative energy in my body and to really like hone in on what makes me me. Again, that shadow work for myself once again, that I've spent, I feel like most of my life working through. And as I've been doing a lot of this, I have come to realize that like this is my magic. This is my gift. My gift is not only shadow work and being a mirror for other people and showing them where they're holding themselves back, but also my gift is shadow alchemy, alchemizing shadow work. I have done this my entire life in secrecy, where I have hidden behind the fact that I come from so much shit. It's not even funny. Trauma, multiple abusive relationships, which I've touched on lightly right in here. But the lore is so deep and how much work, shadow work, identity work I have done on myself for years and years and years to literally just be a functioning human, let alone a parent. But I've hidden those parts of me because shadow work is not cute and sexy and fluffy and fun. And it's not the thing that people are like, oh my God, yes, sign me up for a fucking death and rebirth, right? People are like, I want money, I want freedom. But the truth is, your money is going to grow when you become your most authentic self. And freedom only happens when you're free from yourself, free from your own shadows. And once I realized that, like, this is my power and my gift, and instead of hating this part of me because it triggers people and it scares people and it pushes people away and people don't understand it, my goal, my mission, my sole mission here is to embody that is my gift, that is my work for the world, and to master it in every single way to change people's lives. And I've finally, every morning, I've come out to this patio and I've sat here in silence with the birds and an owl, which is interesting because an owl is my spiritual animal. And I've had one for years at my old house. And now it's back at my new house. And it's one of those weird symbols where it's like, I feel like I've completed a cycle. And it just, I feel liberated. I feel free. I feel like every day I like come out here, I want to cry because when you have gone through the fucking depths of hell in your own life, in different seasons of life, in business, where you feel like I thought I had it all figured out and then it all came crashing down. And I feel like I have no idea who I am. And I'm now going through my third spiritual awakening. And it's like deeper and darker than it's ever been before. And there was so many times I thought about quitting because it's so exhausting. When you finally see that light at the end of the tunnel, like I talked about earlier on, it is a feeling that I cannot describe, but I think some of you are going to understand. If you've been through multiple spiritual awakenings, you will 1000% know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, or if you're in the earlier stages or within one of your first spiritual awakenings, you will eventually know what this is like. And I just feel fucking liberated. I feel so excited for the future, for finally growing my space, my people, my community when I felt so misunderstood for so long, but also bringing in these gifts to change people's lives is so exciting. And so yesterday on social media, I quote unquote came out of the closet, the spiritual closet, to tell people about shadow work and what my gift is and what my magic is. And I emailed about it and to my list. And while I thought I was going to be unfollowed by lots of people, I wasn't. And I told my husband last night, I said, I feel like it's one of those things when you come out and you feel like you've been hiding And you come out of the closet and people are like, oh yeah, we already knew that. We saw that a long time ago, girl. It was kind of like one of those moments. And I was dying laughing last night about it because I had been so worried about coming out, which it was weird because I was like worried and not worried all at the same time. It was like, it is what it is. Like, this is what it is. This is who I am. People are going to love it or hate it, right? Like, I'm past that part. But there's still this piece of me that's like, what is my family going to think? What are my cousins going to think? What are, so and so, what is so and so going to think? And it was just ironic because no one cared. So, this is the new way. This is the path. This is the integration of all of the things I have known, learned, mastered. This is the using my own gifts and magic to help you change your entire life. This is what Breadwinner Energy Academy embodies. It is the self-sourced path to money, to magic, and to meaningful work in your own business without the mask. This is where, as a healer, an empath, an intuitive, or an overgiver, this is where you're going to stop hand-holding other people and start leading. This was something I had to master in my healing journey as a healer was the hand-holding, the people-pleasing, the overdoing, overworking, overgiving instead of leading. When you're in this space, and I see so many healers in this space, even if you don't call yourself that, you're you probably know you're an empath, you're intuitive, or that you have some kind of special magical gift that other people just don't have, and you take your work really seriously, but you have gotten stuck in this trap of like giving, 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 and over giving and too much giving. And this was me for so long, and I had to learn how to actually lead. And this is where you're going to learn this in this program. This is where we're going to pull out your shadow, which is going to be your strategy of your business. This is where your business actually becomes the portal to your power, to wealth, to your next level. Okay. So if you're here, if you've been following me, if this is even something you're remotely interested in, here's what I probably know about you is that you are here to do powerful work. You're here to make impact, right? If you're my people, 100% you're here to make impact because you wouldn't be following along for this long if you weren't a person who wants to change lives and do meaningful work in the world, right? But the way you've built your business is from urgency, hustle, over giving. It is not sustainable. You've spent years being the person, the one person who just gets it. People are like, you just get it. You just understand me. Maybe you're intuitive, nurturer, a space holder, whether you call yourself like a coach, a healer, or even just a service provider, or maybe you don't claim any of those titles. You see everything, you feel everything very, very deeply, and you've been quietly hiding your magic. You've been hiding behind your magic, or you're either stuck in these patterns where you're suppressing your gifts, you're suppressing your magic or your uniqueness to stay palatable or professional or clear, and you're not actually honing in and owning your gift, right? You're still masking it with like a very like loud or a very quiet personality, right? Or you're like masking it with like in your face, or again, like being like very soft and quiet. You're not like authentically owning you. Right? Maybe you're only selling your services or like your offers in a one-to-one space. So you're not growing or scaling because you feel like everything you do is so personal. I see this a lot with my psychics. I just helped a psychic package her offer and her services into group because you think that, well, this has to be done one-to-one. I'm literally doing readings. I'm helping people connect to the other side. This can be packaged, okay? Maybe you're over giving, you're hand holding and trying to prove your worth or create safety with like making sure that people understand you, see you, and love what you do. So you create that safety when you're over giving and hand holding. So it feels like people are accepting you when in reality you're strapping yourself to your business, right? You're limited on time, you're limiting yourself, your creativity, your uniqueness, and everything feels like it's just like fitting into this box, but the box actually wasn't created by you, right? So you feel caged in. In Breadwinner Energy Academy, this is where we change it. We alchemize your relationship with money, with power, with soul expression. We shift you out of this performing, people pleasing, playing small, overgiving, hand holding, surviving energy into embodied leadership and sustainable wealth. This is where we help you build your business on truth, not trauma, your own truth, like the literal truth of like who you are, what you're here to do, what you actually want. This program is not just like business foundations. It's not just business. It's frequency. It's identity. It's the energetics. It's shadow work mixed with strategy so that you have fucking liberation. Okay. This is going to be the program for you if you're the good girl, right? The good girl energy, the everyone likes me, putting on a show, putting on a performance of like the perfect put together packaged woman, right? So you're done with being the girl who gets results, but then you're burning out all the fucking time. You have checklists for days. You resent your business. You hate launching. Nothing ever feels good enough. You're selling from scarcity or hustle or always being online 24/7. Your messaging is very structured to like, this is who it's for, this is what I do, this is the outcome, but it has no uniqueness or magic in it. Maybe you question your magic or you start to mask your magic every time money slows down or in general you're just not even leading with it. And so your business maybe looks good online but feels heavy as fuck. It does not feel good at all. You're hiding behind your authentic self. You're not owning the magic that you have. You're not packaging your magic and you're not creating freedom in your business by being a leader. Okay. What you're really ready to do though is heal at the root. You're ready to align your business with your energy, your body, your gifts, the season of life you're in, your unique magic, and actually be receiving in your business without always being online. You are done leading with the fake fitting in bullshit. Like you're just over it. You see people through other people's bullshit. You're just over it. You want to create a business from your own magic. You want to scale with strategy that actually feels like you. Like inside, we're building a business that feels like freedom where you find your community. Like you finally feel like you've found your people. You get to show up authentically you. You create more calendar space, more cash, and more client results while you spend more time offline. So inside this program, you not only have the 8 weeks live with me to learn the entire curriculum, you also have 12 months access to deep dive into the curriculum because the curriculum is packed, right? We also have 2 calls a month for live Q&A as well as guest expert trainings, and you get to become an affiliate and earn while you learn. Plus, you have the community inside. Inside, this is what we're doing. Number one, embodiment. We are truly doing the embodiment work to embody a business that works for you. Shadow work with business strategy. We're also doing nervous system safe scaling and ancestral and energetic healing. Okay, so we're going to mix all of the pieces together. So it's going to be like peeling back the layers, the shadow work layers, plus implementing an actual embodiment framework for yourself, plus adding in the tangible pieces of strategy for your offer, for launching, for evergreen, like all of the literal pieces you need for business, making sure that your business is nervous system safe, it grows with less of you, and then we're going to do that deep healing work inside as well. This program is, like I said before, 2222 for the entire year or just 222 a month, and you can join right now. By the end of this program, you're going to own your spiritual and strategic brilliance. You're going to finally, quote unquote, come out of the closet or really own those dark pieces of you or those pieces of your magic that you're still suppressing. And you're going to build a consistent, sustainable, low hour business model that actually gives you, like I said, the calendar space and cash and client results while you spend more time offline. You will learn how to finally magnetize aligned people into your world. You will be seen and feel safe to be seen and sovereign in your voice, your offers, and your leadership. This is where we're truly going to rebirth the next evolution of you and your business. Okay. Are you in? Are you joining us? We start live, completely live for 8 weeks, starting tomorrow. Join right now. The link is below. You can get in right now. If you have questions, come over to Instagram at @itstaydaniels_LLC and ask away. We can chat about it in the DMs. We can voice note back and forth and talk about if this is or isn't for you. Otherwise, I will see you inside the program. As always, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the next episode.